an absurd twist. Our movie reviewer, Jason Gorber, joins me now to tell me about this movie. Is it a knockout? Is it numb fun? Oh, my God. Jason Gorber, nice to see you. How are you, buddy?
Nice to see you. Nice to be on radio with you.
What is NOVOCAINE about?
No, well, let's not. Before we get there, we have to discuss the fact that this is the greatest film in the history of cinema.
Oh, of course. I apologize. I thought it was some other movie. But
so we have. I mean, look. I mean, everybody talks about Citizen Kane.
Yeah, I do.
But now we're talking about NOVOCAINE.
Yeah, in the same breath, if you will.
100%. And what I think about NOVOCAINE, I think NOVOCAINE is one of those amazing films that comes along once in a generation that basically recognizes the fact that what you do is you take something that's crazy and high concept. You have a guy who has a congenital insensitivity to pain.
Yeah, can't feel pain.
Can't feel pain.
Yeah.
And so what do you do with a man who can't feel pain but give him things that the audience can feel? You shoot him with arrows and guns and knives and boiling oil.
Yes.
And somehow, out of all of this, you get a bank manager, like a sort of nerdy bank manager who sort of hooks up with one of his employees. Like that's not the most sticky part of the whole film. Yeah. But then everything goes awry. And somehow out of all of this, we get something that's akin to Die Hard, kind of. A little bit. I mean, like, people want to call it John Wick. It's more nobody than John Wick. But really, on a fundamental basis, this is those films that, I don't know, I used to get when I was a kid. That you would go, the studios would give me movies that gave me all of the joy and all the pleasure of watching people punch people in the face.
Yeah, repeatedly.
But do so in a way that is both comedic and engaging, that has plot twists that actually are integrated into the story, that actually treat me as a semi-sentient human being. Do so without radical pixelization, so I don't have to have two men in tights that are then CGI'd so that they're fighting in space. You literally have a crazy, high-concept film made by a couple guys, and I got to get their names right because these
Please
guys
do. These are the Citizen Kane of our generation,
right?
So.
Dan Berk and Robert Olsen. So these guys are fascinating because they're part of the generation that always comes up with something called Slam Dance.
Okay.
So Slam Dance is that festival that takes place usually at the same time as Sundance, and it was originally designed for films that didn't get into Sundance.
So it's not a slam poetry festival.
That would be a whole nother nightmare.
A different thing.
That is a bad. The point is,
right.
Yeah. NOVOCAINE plus slam poetry is the next iteration we're going to do. That's the sequel.
We'll get there.
The deal is that Slam Dance actually showcases a lot of young talent. One, Christopher Nolan was somebody who didn't get into Sundance and had his first one play Slam Dance.
Famously not a slam poet.
Yeah. And what they've done since then is sort of milk the hell that Christopher Nolan started there. The deal is that these two filmmakers that have worked with like Michael Monroe in horror films and stuff like that have come out. They shoot this film in South Africa because why not?
Sure.
Film Nation, who's like a big distributor, suddenly has this sort of indie thing. And what this is, on a real fundamental basis, as a movie nerd basis, is that we are getting a mid-budget, excellent film. And so things are either super indie or super major blockbustery. But we have Paramount. Yeah. The makers of Raiders of the Lost Ark are giving us this sort of mid-budget, very engaging, super entertaining, fantastic film that demands to be seen with a big audience, so it absolutely shines. It's 100% a theater movie, but isn't something that you need to go in and have seen 15 seasons of some TV show in order to understand what's going on.
Well, I got to tell you, like the thing you're describing, the mid-budget entertaining action movie, I thought that was gone. I thought that was like a T-Rex, like it's been wiped out of the face of the earth. It's like, it used to loom large and now it's no longer around.
It's funny you mentioned T-Rex because there's another one of those coming out. But the deal is...
Yes, there is.
The deal is what they did was they took the genetically engineered star, the daughter of Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid. Yeah. Sorry, daughter. The son of, we're in genders,
Jack
construction.
Quaid. Yeah.
Jack Quaid. You also have Jack Nicholson's kid in this. There's two Nepo babies in this.
That's more Nepo babies than I can maybe handle.
Nepo baby? I don't know how it works.
Yeah,
the deal is the two shine on screen. Okay. Like, it's just great. And again, I mean this without any sardonicism or sarcasm. Yeah. It was such a joy to watch this film unfold because I just felt like I was watching something that was unafraid to be entertaining, unafraid to just be a movie, that I didn't feel – forget homework. It's not that it has to be an art film or something like that. It's just I was just there in the moment and enjoying the fact that people were absolutely getting. There are Home Alone allusions. There are. There are Wile E. Coyote illusions. Speaking of a studio film that got pulled because of budgetary reasons,
yes.
There's all of these elements that all come together in this gloriously demented and yet exquisitely well done film called Novocaine that I genuinely think if you're just looking like you've had a tough day and you just want to have fun in the theaters, man, go see this film.
For the young folks who are listening,
Yes.
if you're 25 and under, there used to be a time where people like Jason and I used to go to the movie theater and we'd get an action movie.
There's this place called a movie theater.
Yeah, and we'd go in and go, oh, there's an action movie that's playing. It was made for, I don't know, $25 to $40 million, and I'm going to have a great time watching it. And I may even forget that it happened immediately after I walk out, but it will be a great experience for me. That's what the movies were for, Jason.
Sure. I mean, this is not a Chuck Norris or a Steven Seagal thing. This is much better than that.
Okay.
This, in a funny way, this reminds me of something like a Grosse Point Blank.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
now
deep cut.
My language.
So this is a film that should be schmaltz and should be terrible and should be a single concept, and yet somehow consistently they've taken something which is it sounds like the kind of idea you would have while lying on your couch and thinking, I know. What happens if a guy can't feel pain? He would become a natural superhero. What are we actually going to do with this? And you're like, how are you ever going to stretch that in a movie? And so the sheer visceral joy of seeing them pull it off is why I'm so excited about this film. Because again, my favorite art are things that should be terrible and are not. Jaws should be garbage. If they shot the book of Jaws, it would be terrible. And yet somehow it made one of the greatest films I've ever made. Novocaine isn't Jaws. It's not Citizen Kane. But it is Novocaine, and it's not Kane Mutiny. There's so many Kanes. It's not Charlie Chaplin. I don't know where we're going with the Kane metaphor, but the deal is that Novocaine truly is something that fills you with joy, and for something that like ostensibly is about a guy that doesn't have any pain, I think it actually fills our heart with joy that we're actually watching a movie that is pretty darn good.
I should tell folks who can't see you that Jason is beaming in ways that are like, it's like the greatest revelation of his life has been solved. And you know what? I'm happy for you and I'm happy for me. Jason, it's nice to see you, pal. Thank you so much.
All the best, my friend.
Yes, of course. Jason Gorber is Metro Morning's movie columnist and the editor-in-chief of ThatShelf.com. He talked to us about Novocaine. Actually, he didn't just talk to us about Novocaine. He endorsed it so thoroughly that I'm going to leave the studio right now and go see that movie. That movie is now out in theaters.
Shelf.